Yo, and welcome to Boom Hand Reviews. My name's Alex, and today we're looking at a hand from 2 cents, 5 cents cash on stores. Today we'll be starting with LoveBadBeat here. So yeah, let's get ahead and watch the hand. So to start off with, we have a raise under the gun and a call from under the gun +1. So at the minute, you just look at the call on the button and see a flop in position. We don't want to raise this hand because if we get 4-bet, then the hand is basically, we're just going to have to fold because we're doing badly against under the gun 4-bet in range. We're going to be dominated a lot, and at best we'll be flipping with hands like ace king. It's definitely a spot to flat. There's no reason why we ever should think of raising here. So yes, I should hopefully see a flat, which we do. Nice. So yeah, hopefully none of the small blinds or big blinds to get crazy. Yep. So we go to see a flop, and it's a great flop for us. So we flop the full house. Obviously we're looking just to see how the under the gun raiser takes, what line he takes here. So he bets quite small, just under a third of the pot. So obviously I'd like to bring it in for a raise here just to start building the pot. I'd probably like to see a raise to 46. He's betting his entire range here, no matter, like the bet is small, which does seem a bit weak, but I would like to see a raise to about 46. At the same time, calling's fine. If we think our opponent's gonna double barrel, treble barrel these bluffs, then I think calling's fine. Even raising on this board does look a bit strange because we're only representing a full house or a quad, so a hand like a7 suited, where our opponent could go a bit crazy. But at the same time, I think flatten's okay. I'd prefer raising to build a pot in this spot, but flattening's fine. We'll see a turn. We'll see what happens on the turn. And there's a jack on the turn. The opponent checks. Now, I definitely would want to see a bet here. I'd say a bet around 36 to 30, really, just to, as again, try and build a pot. It's very likely we've got the best hand now. The opponent's checked. Basically, I think he'd check anything through sixes, through nines, tens, which he's going to call at least one bet here. So I think we've got a bet because there's a lot of his range which he'll check call. He doesn't want to get check raised with the hands like tens. So I think it's fine, definitely betting here. I think it's a definite bet in this spot. Okay, checks behind. Now the only reason I would ever check behind here is if I think my opponent, and I've got a specific read on my opponent that he's got pure air, and that the only reason to get more value from this hand is from him to bluff the river. But there's a lot of things needing to happen for him to bluff the river. For one, there needs to be a card that he can bluff at. Like if there's a four, it's a terrible card. So you want either a queen, suit the queen, a king, or an ace, really to make a believable bluff. Unless, but as again, I think it's a definite bet. I think we've missed out on so much value there because, as I say, the times that he's going to bluff won't outlay the times that when we bet he's got a value hand which will call. So I definitely think it's plus EV to bet in this spot. There's a suited 4 on the river and he bets. He leads out, so his range, we've got to think of his range, as I say, probably bet like sixes through tens here for value. So we're obviously going to bring it in for a raise. So I'd like to see a raise to around 86. 75, nice bet size in here. Now puts our opponent in a tricky spot. I think he's going to have to fold hands like tens, like hands like, as I've been saying, sixes through tens. And if he brings it in for a raise, this is where it gets tricky because what we've got to think is we've underrepped our hand and he's underrepped his hand as well. So if he raises, he may raise a hand like a7 here for value. If he's got a7 of hearts or something like that. Sorry, a7 of suited a7. He may bring it in for a raise here as we've underrepped our hand as well. And a7 would be very strong on this board. But if he does raise, I would just flat because if then we jam over the top of his raise, there's not a lot he's going to call with. He may call with a7, but that's the only part of his hand, of his range that he's calling. He may have slow played jacks full, but I do think we should just call in the spot if he brings it in for a raise. Because as I say, there's not a lot we're getting called by, which is worse if we bring it in for a re-raise and we're just losing more when we're behind. So as you can see, It doesn't make sense to raise if you're not getting called by worse and you're only getting called by better hands. That, my friends, is a negative EV, so we'll just see what happens here. And he brings it in for a raise, and as I say, I would just like a call here. Bringing it in for a call is fine. It's effectively a click back what he's done, which does just look super strong as well. He's never bluffing here, so A7 is minimum. He may have jacks full, quarters he may be. So I definitely think it's the right decision just to flat. So he brings it in for a raise. As I say, the opponents may call with A7 here, but he's raised from the gun. It's full ring. It's unlikely he has A7. So I think it's just wrong from there. I think we're only going to get called by worse. And we do get called. And the opponent has 7s. So it is a super cooler. I think there's no getting away from it at the flop. I think that all goes in on the flop. It's just a cooler, nothing you can do about it. The opponent would probably get it in with aces, kings on that board there on the flop. On the turn, when it's checked, we've both slow played our hand, we're both under repping our hand. On the river, I think we can save a couple of dollars by just flattening the opponent's re-raise. But all in all, it is a bit of a sick cooler, and there's not a lot we could have done. But I hope you've learned a lot from it. I hope you've enjoyed the view, and I'll see you again soon.